Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I mean, maybe not so happy because a lot of people are sad about what happened to crypto overnight. Oh my God. Bitcoin's back to 115. So sad, so scary.
It's still over 112 though. Remember when it was stuck under 112 was the high to beat all that for that long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just normal price action. It's normal volatility going on. It's nothing too scary, in my opinion. So we'll talk about that. And let's just get started because there's a lot of requests in there.
So
And
many.
yeah, with SPY, let's just put on some of the other indicators here so we can take a look at what's really going on. And there's room for some back tests, right? There is still on a day-to-day basis. This is the daily candles. Even the conversion line still down there at 636 for the SPY, and the baseline is still 632. And there's a lot of more support below. But the question remains: does it want to touch this 648.98 first before having any kind of correction? I guess we'll find out. But it's just getting closer to resistance than it is support, anyways. So I would just be cautious in this zone for SPY. Nothing too scary is on the horizon, but also be cautious at resistance unless it has proof it can break out above. And QQQ, it is actually starting to lose that 1.272, the 578.46, but it lost that on Friday. And now we're still trending a little bit lower since then. So if we're looking for a back test, it could be the 571, could be the 567, could be a little bit lower as well. But cautious at resistance, right? We closed below it on Friday. So that means maybe we're not ready to continue the journey to the 598 above. And the IWM is holding that 786, the 226.80. Even pre-market, it's green, kind of outperforming still. So not too scary of a situation for IWM right at this moment. So I'll be watching that level the whole weekend, or sorry, the whole week, I should say, 226.80. And if that can show stability on top of there, then we can actually continue the journey to the 235 and the previous all-time highs. So fantastic development for IWM, and I like it here at the support zone. And if it does go a little bit below again, I would like it even more because it's on the horizon of something great, in my opinion. And we can take a look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, we can see it's back retesting the arc. I just made a post about it just now on X. And this is kind of a normal thing that's expected, right? We have a big breakout, just consolidation on top of the arc, week over week over week, still holding that. And if it did need to go back to the Ichimoku conversion line down there at 112, 111, I think that's fine. I think that's perfectly healthy and fine if I wanted to retest that as well, because there hasn't been a retest of that since basically since it broke out, since it touched back on July 7th. So I think it's a healthy development. And this wick up here, it just wasn't ready to go higher. So a lot of selling pressure in that zone. So just patience is required for Bitcoin. Patience overall in crypto is always required because people usually get excited at resistance and they get scared at support. And I think it's also normal for Ethereum to also have some situation where it wants to go back and retest levels because it got pretty close to all-time highs as well. I'll just take a look at Tesla too, then I'll flip it back to you, Tracker.
Right.
And Tesla, there's really no change, right? Since my weekly update on Saturday, I talked about it being in a range, the 347, 321, and even the conversion line is at 323. It's above all indicators. It's inside the cloud. It's above the 702. It's just floating there in a range. So it can go anywhere, right? 347, 321. It can just stay in that zone until it's ready to decisively break out. So I don't understand the bearishness with Tesla here when it's just range bound. Maybe because whenever it's boring, people expect some kind of crash. But this is a different situation because Tesla before, all in since, let's see, February, March, April, May, June, it was all under resistance here, right? Even the baseline was way up here. But now it's the opposite situation. We're above all of that now, not below it. So it's not the same kind of Tesla chart as it once was back in April, May, June. It is building a foundation now. So it's a good development. Tracker, back to you.
All right, a little bit of hope here for you guys for Bitcoin. Here's my long-term Bitcoin chart again. I did some time divisions here, so you can kind of see the light blue sections are where price tends to advance. The darker blue, price retreats. advances, retreats, and we're in the advancement stage again right now, at least until, according to my chart, January 19th of 2026. So still lots of time for this to go up higher, even though right now these are weekly candlesticks. We just had a little bit of movement down. It looks like after price matured, basically I'm calling this from $2 to zero, and then one is 19,666. It back tested this 786, then the 886, and then established sort of support over 19,000. And then, everything you guys have been thinking about lately in the last year has just really just been, or the last couple of years, the section right here, 2023 to now. So I really do think we could get closer to, like 180,000, 185,000 before it finishes this cycle and starts testing backwards again. And I think when it tests backwards, it's going to try to find support on top of like this 125,000 level right about here, maybe 122,000. So all we're doing right now is we're bumping up against resistance that will flip to support in time. Just give it all some time. All right. That said, Matt, do you want to do the first request here, or shall I just pull one off the rack?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes,
Okay, let's
you
see.
can do it.
Let's see what I have for Zim. Zim Integrated Shipping Services. Now this is going to be a brand new chart because I'm doing new stuff from the top to the bottom. And then in this one right here, I've got this new setup that I've been doing. So I'm calling this a type B chart where price action is still constrained below the 50% center pivot. It's above the 114, but below the 0.5. This wants to become what I'm going to call a type A chart where price action is exploring the purple part from the 50% to the 100% level. So this one's still, I call this a growth stock with potential to become a type A stock, which is going to be more stable and have better constructive action. Look for Zim to, I can just do this real quick here. I'm not going to do this for all these. Let's do this at the outset. Here's just a linear scale fib extension where price seems to be wanting to go back to the 886. So yeah, this looks like it's going to turn from a type B stock to a type A stock. Pretty, I can't tell you exactly when on the timing, but as soon as it can get over 2414 and turn that into support, again, so it kind of right here is where it did it the first time successfully. Then it lost it here. Lost it here. So above 2414, and you can expect it to be able to explore this whole zone up here. So yeah, it could be a good growth stock. It looks like it kind of back tested the 382 between these two here. Like, if I did this from here to here and did it in this style right here. Oh gosh, these ones are all backwards. But we get real close and you can see it basically, you subdivide this and it retested like this 2929 and the 382 level, and now we're back over the 100%. So it's over the 382 now. Let's just see if we can. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's back down here. And so the 618. The 618 is a great place for it to hold support. So bullish above 1626 to get back over 1764 to get over 2414, and then just give it some time, and you can see it start to re-explore the all-time high of 9123. All right, back to you, Matt, and I'll get the next one ready.
Yeah, I see a WSBN on the London Stock Exchange, and there's a huge 114% candle right now. And you mentioned the 77-cent support. No. On my chart, there is weekly support of maybe the 236 now, which could be the 62-cent zone. But all I see is the weekly 100-week moving average and the top of the cloud at the $1 zone. Also, big previous zone right here. This was a big loss support, right? That zone right here, big loss support. It broke down. That's at 106. So this chart is in a perpetual downtrend forever and ever and ever, right? On the high time frame. So it's not a bullish chart. but it does have potential if it can ever get back above the cloud and actually stay above that 236. So I guess that's kind of the line in the sand. Stay above the 236, then it can get more bullish. Stay above 62 cents. If so, it can go higher. If it starts to drop below, then it could continue to be a falling knife once again. So just
Yeah,
keep watching that
I'm
62.
calling this now a type D stock. Like if you played all those Japanese video games where they give you a rating at the end of the level, and if you got a rank D, it just means you suck at this game. So this one's a rank D for
Yeah,
now.
I mean it's easy to go up 100% when it used to be a $300 stock or a 300 pound stock, whatever currency
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, so it's easy to do that, and especially it's a penny stock now too. So um, or what do they call it in England? A quid stock, maybe.
The quid pro quo.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's still in a falling knife stage. We'll just see if it can break this resistance or not. So let the chart prove it to us. Let's not speculate on that. We can look at QS as well. Just seeing this right here. Stability above the 200-week moving average would be kind of necessary for continuation at a minimum. That's right at 904, and it did close the week at 903. So it is still battling it week over week as a potential resistance. We can look at the daily chart just to see that it is getting closer and closer to the daily cloud. So we'll watch in the next couple of days how price kind of reacts off of the cloud. If it can just bounce off it and continue towards the $11, or if it starts to go through it and then maybe wants to retest some lower levels. So let's just wait a few more days just to see that kind of reaction. But in current price, it's still holding that conversion line around 897. If that continues, then perhaps it can continue the trend higher. But it's battling weekly resistance right now. So all of this, the conversion, the baseline, the 200 week, it's all battling it as resistance. So got to just wait day over day, week over week to see how that develops. And if it keeps getting rejected, then there is a risk to go back to touch the cloud, which would be in the 680s or below. All right, Tracker, back to you.
All right. Oh, I also chose QuantumScape to cover here. I just wanted to show you how it's also a type B stock where it's stuck under its major center pivot here, but it's trying. It's really trying off of its all-time low of $3.40. Went to $15, back to 802, and so I've subdivided the last price move here. So if it doesn't make a new lower low than 802, then it's in retrace back towards 1503. And what you really want to see is it make its way on top of 1015, then 1098, and then from 1098 it can graduate to this purple zone, which, as you can see, it'll get it back over the larger degree 382. And eventually this does want to test the center pivot out. I was just kind of doing this to kind of show how the nice thing is after it ran up just over the larger degree 382, it didn't go all the way back to the 214. So yeah, it's like it did it held up at the 125 of the 214, this little subdivision. So anyway, 1098, very important to get on top of, so I can get over 1378, so I can get on top of 2123 and become a stock that explores this purple zone here. Did I want to show you the 75, 300? Yeah, there's obviously a bullish cross of the moving average 75 through the moving average 300, which was, resistance for a very long time, but now it could be support. If it spends enough time up here, that'll let the 75 catch it as support, and then by the time it gets up to the halfway center pivot, this moving average 300 will probably have made its way up there as well. Anyway, I'm bullish on QS. I've got a bunch of it, and I had calls on it last week that paid off pretty well. Big Bear AI, I've got the stock. I also own this. This is a type A stock because it has made its way above its larger degree center pivot. And yeah, we're still sort of stuck over the 702. It tested back to the 618, which is great. The 618 holding gets it back to the 886. Getting over the 886 takes us to the new all-time highs. So yeah, I like this one here's this right here. All right, we're at $6.05 now. To get to to test the 886 and fail the first time. Well, actually, this is kind of where it failed the first time. It might get over it the second time now, but that is price bottom. 87% higher, about almost 88% higher from where price is now to test the 886. Anyway, I'm bullish on Big Bear AI and other. This is a drone, they do sea drones. How about back to you, Matt, and I'll get the next one here.
Yes, let's go to Galaxy over
I
here.
keep picking the same ones. I'll pick a different one.
Well, we're going down the same list, right?
I know we're going down the same list.
All right, Galaxy. So I'm watching this. I know Cat's watching a different fib from basically the high to the low here, but I'm kind of watching this high to the low here, and I'm watching this 886 right there, and that's around
Yeah.
2777. And it's been battling it for weeks, and it hasn't really been able to close any kind of weekly candle above it since the first time back in July. And right now we're going back to the conversion line, which is basically around current price, around 25.39, 25.40. So we'll see if that can offer some stability right there. If it does offer some stability, then it can try to reclaim that 27.77. But I think what is kind of likely to happen is maybe continue the journey a little bit lower. And if we do use the fib that Cat has been using on his charts, it would be just basically from the high up here to the low down here, and that would just be the 886, right? The 886 fib that it's trying to build a base on, which kind of makes a lot more sense because that's a previous huge resistance right there, trying to flip to a support. So that would be around 2267, right in that zone. So if it does need to go back below a little bit more to retest that, that would be understandable before the continuation higher. But just to let you know, anywhere in this zone looks kind of attractive to me, the 25 down to the 22, 23 zone, before it's really ready to continue that journey higher. So let's just keep watching that zone. Let's actually just keep watching the conversion line today, see if it can hold this whole week, really, the 25.39. But it's a bullish chart. Eventually it will break out, but it might need a little bit more time of consolidation. I do see XRP in that request as well.
XRP.
So it might be looking ready to maybe even go back to backtest the conversion line on the weekly chart, which is around like 282.
Boo.
So we'll watch that. We'll watch that, right? I mean, this is just still a very bullish chart, guys. Just it's not ready to break out. The whole crypto market's not ready to break out, and it's just going to require a little bit more patience. So it's building a nice foundation, though, on top of all of these previous candles, right? If we just draw a line like right here, that is essentially previous resistance flipping to a support. It can even go down a little bit lower to include that wick down there too. Just a big zone, right? Previous resistance flipping to support, and it can go a little bit lower before higher. So just be patient as usual with XRP, because people often get very, very bullish once they see a big green candle. But I like to get bullish when I see a longer consolidation, because that just means support is holding nicely before the next journey higher. So with that, go ahead, Tracker.
All right, so I just want to show you guys an example of what I call an S-type stock, superior. That's like if you beat the boss in under time and you get all the bonuses on the level. You get the S rank rating. Well, here's Palantir, and obviously it's an S rank stock because from its previous all-time high to its all-time low, it explored all that. It recovered its halfway point. It blasted its way through the purple zone into all-time highs. Now it's in this green zone where it's new all-time highs. And really, to track Palantir, I'm going to start looking at it, sort of watching it probably from the 618. No, I did the part. Probably from the 1618 to the 2618 is how I'll be watching this one. I'll be charting inside this zone. But I just wanted to do that one to show you SoFi, which is a cat pick, right, for a stock that could go Palantiring. And here's why. Because it is above its 886. It already, from the all-time high to the all-time low, got stuck under the halfway point, but then got over it and then had to test back to it, back test the 382. But now it's over its 886. And maybe, I don't know, if we need another week or 2 weeks where it definitively shows the 886's support, then after that it can go on and graduate from a type A stock, where it's the 50% of the 1%, to the 100%, to a type S, where it goes into the green and just starts exploring beyond and, joins the rank of Palantir and Tesla and NVIDIA and all that. So SoFi, yeah, definitely a Palantiring candidate if I ever saw one, onto its rank S soon. And then I was going to do Let's see. Looks like I did Celestino a disservice. She wanted to see if Matt had a Gann chart for Big Bear AI. Not my silly retracements here. Here's Kalidi Biotherapeutics, and it is still a Type D stock where it's sort of stuck under the 50% pivot, and over time it has been making, you know when it was here it couldn't get over the 2.5, so it made a new lower low, a new all-time low. When here it couldn't get over the 375 with this blow off top, made a new uh, all-time lower low. Right here it got over the 1.25 but couldn't touch the 0.25, made a new lower low. You see how these go. Here it couldn't even get halfway to 1.25, makes a lower low. Then we get a big blow off top, which does get over the 0.125, but then loses again. And now it's down to it's right at this 0.125, which should be, again, the strongest support of the lower half. So if Kalita Biotherapeutics can hold this level over 529, turn to support, you can see so far, well, last week it closed the body of the candle underneath it. But if it can close a body of the candle on top of it, then maybe we can see it start to become a B class stock. A type B stock where it does get back in this exploration range. It did have this blow off candle here I completely ignored, where it gets over the center pivot and then, but like right back, it just sells right back down again. That was probably just someone did a big institutional buy that the market just wasn't ready for. So that's why it sent the price storing temporarily. Let's see. I was going to do IPA, and then I'll pass it back to Matt after this one. Wait, did I just do this one? No. I think I was getting it ready to show you guys. Immunoprecise antibodies. Here is on a weekly chart. I'm just ignoring all this price action because you can see there's like no volume. This is like, it was a sub penny stock back here. So really, just like Matt was talking about, we're going to talk about this as the beginning of it. The history, the all-time high of 33.34, the all-time low of 27 cents, and it's getting very close to retesting the halfway point at $3 on the log scale fibs. So there's a bit of a price gap here on the weekly. It probably doesn't have a gap on the hourly. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Yeah, there's no price gap on the hourly. It's fine. Yeah, just look for it to get rejected by $3 the first time. But if it hangs around under there, then that's like a bull flag. Gets over it, tests down to it, and then it can move on into the purple range. And that's where it becomes a 10x stock, from going from $3 to like $33, where it retests the all-time high again. So anyway, it's just the thing about I didn't talk about the time component. With the type B stocks, you never know how long it's going to take for them to get over here. But it looks like a lot of the work is done so far. Just look out if it goes back and tests the 298. That just means it will take longer. I kind of feel tempted to show you from $2.01 to test $3 above. That's 43% higher. If it can get to the 618, that's like 155% higher. IPA looks great as long as it never goes back below 75 cents again. If it goes below there, then it could be I might have to call it a type D stock again. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I'll show my BBAI. I don't have any GAN on the higher time frame, just the lower time frame. But the high time frame is just important as this 599, and it's been holding the 702. So it's a breakout back test, just building a base on top of the cloud, on top of that 599 with a huge wick below. Nice liquidity grab, and it's holding. So yeah, stay above $6. It'll get more bullish. Let's take a look more so at what else. SMCI. And SMCI, I think, is still in consolidation mode after a breakout, and it did lose some support a couple of weeks ago with the bearish engulfing candle. So I think it's going to be in consolidation for a little bit longer now, right? And it could even go back down to this now flattening out 50-week moving average, which is at 39.60s down below. So I think we're in a support range right now, maybe current price or 43.80s down to the 39.60s. I think that can be the support zone until it's really ready to continue the journey higher. So it had a very nice run. Now it's time to cool off for some weeks, I think, before it's able to break back above the $47, $50 range. That's going to be our resistance above. So range bound, and it's at the upper parts of support, I think, right now, with the potential to go back down to the 39.60s below. So patience with this one as usual before it's ready to continue higher. And Ondo, ONDO, let's see. Yeah, I do chart Ondo here. And Ondo, we can see that it's still stuck under the 50-week moving average, but there is a nice trend change of being above the baseline, and the conversion line there has not been above it since basically last year in December. So that's a good trend change. Let's keep watching it. 92 cents down to 91.4. Just keep stabilizing above it, and eventually it will break free of the arc, but not yet. It's like everything else out there, it's building a nice foundation on top of support, but it's not ready to break any kind of resistance just yet. And lastly, let's do Rocket Lab. I already did IWM, Micah, at the very beginning. So you can go back and watch that. That's always the first thing I always do is SPY, QQQ, and IWM. But Rocket Lab, this one is starting to lose the 1.414 as a support. And you can see that the conversion line is down there at 39.37, along with the angle down below. So if we're looking for, or is it more like 39.60s? Yeah, the conversion line's around 39.60s, and that angle's around the same price. So if we're looking for some kind of support zone, that would be it down below. And I think after spending 3 weeks in a row below this 45.21, there might be a little bit of a higher chance to go back and retest this support before it wants to really break out. So I think it's just in consolidation as well, and was unsuccessful at breaking above this 45.21, but it's still in a nice support zone. And what I care about the most is just maintaining this angle of support, because if that can be maintained, then it can actually build a nice foundation there before it's ready to break above the 45.21 and go to the 65.40s above. So more sideways to down first, in my opinion, before higher. Tracker, back to you.
All right. H. Salamanca says, "Sup, gents, market makers playing games. They're always playing games. That's every day. Every day in the market, every weekend with crypto. Anyway, here's Galaxy. And again, it's another cat. Not, I keep calling them cat picks, but they're cat point outs because he pointed them out. He didn't pick them. The Galaxy is another Palantiring candidate. It's graduating from a type A, where the price was exploring this upper purple part between the halfway point and 1, and now it's over 1. I should point out that what I've done here is you can see it probably looks more like this should be the all-time high, and I could do maybe this all-time low, not this all-time low. But I'll tell you what I did was I looked at this chart and I said, maybe if I hit the bottom here and the top, if I hit the bottom here and I move the top until the 50% level comes right to this point here, where it was resistance, support, that's like a really good candidate for the halfway point, in my eyes, for Galaxy. Let me just put this back to exactly where I had it. Yep, right there. And so so I think it's gonna become a type S candidate. It'll be there real soon. And then let's see. I was going to do. Let me show my Rocket Lab chart. But I know instead of showing you this newfangled stuff that I'm really excited about, let me show you. There is my old style chart here. Maybe the old style. No, maybe the old style. Yes, here we go. All right, Rocket Lab, RKLB. Yeah, much like Matt says, I've been looking for this to retrace. Went to the 123.6 down to, really, gosh. It usually from the 123, no, it did 1382. No, this is it. I really thought it would catch support here at this 100% level. Looking back, the 127.2 is at 41.46. That's been holding. If it just holds in this, if it goes sideways long enough, this, I'm going to 16-hour chart, this moving average 75 will catch up to it. Like Matt said, if it just goes straight into this cloud, I don't think it has to, but since it did do the 618, gosh, it could go to the 764. Don't be terrified if it does a crazy wick down to 36 and then just comes right back up again. I think this is definitely constructive, and its wave 5 target is up here at the 2382 at $83.80. So just give it some time. The wave 2 was very short, so this wave 4 is going to be longer, as you can see from my notes here from previously. All right, that's Rocket Lab, and then I was going to do EOSE, and then I want to show one more thing, and then I'm going to go back to Matt. EOSE, I am looking for this to retrace down to 618. 618.382 seems to be the flavor of 2025. I've talked about that, and you can see how the 16-hour moving average 75 was support right there. Maybe it'll be support one more time. Maybe it touches the top of this cloud, the Ichimoku cloud, about $5.53, with a wick to $5.37. And then my wave 3, why aren't you going? You should go to the 123.6. You should 123.6, 764, something like this. Oh, I know, because these aren't the whole wave. These are subwaves. I was trying to predict like what the subwaves look like on the way to the 123.6 at 1052 or 1053. It says here. All right. So anyway, just hang on. It's going to be 76% higher after maybe it goes like 5% lower for a minute. All right. And the last thing I want to show you was back to this type. And then, this is one I don't think anyone requested this morning, but ASTS Spacemobile is a really good, a newly Palantiring stock above its all-time high, and it's kind of early, in the green section here. So yeah, this looks like it's going to keep exploring higher and higher. It's got a nice gap between its wave sub 1, 3, 4, and the 4. Like between the 1 and the 4, there's a gap here. So I don't think it's going to test back that low again. I think it wants to go up to the 141 here at 73 next, from 48 now. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish the show with a couple of tickers. One is Roblox RBLX, just because we haven't done this one. We haven't done this one in a while. So, what happened? Well, it went up to the previous high, went to the arc, and got rejected for the past 3 weeks in a row. That was a sign it's not going to break out. So that's what happened last week, and went back to retest the 886 and the bottom arc. So now let's see if price can actually find stability above 114.31 in that zone. If successful, then it can continue higher. But there's also a chance of retesting this angle down below too, since it broke out. So I'll be watching that as well. Basically, the 114 down towards even the baseline down here would be 100. So I think if that is the support zone I would like the most to stabilize above, and then when it's ready to continue the journey higher, then it can start to break above this arc again, which could be anywhere from 129 maybe down to 125, 124, depending on time, until it's ready. But I think because it's kind of extended from the cloud over here, I think it could just like stay in between this arc with some liquidity grabs down to the angle until it's kind of ready to get closer and closer to the cloud and go higher. So it had a huge run. So now it's time to be patient, right? The time to be greedy was on all these breakout back tests before things went higher. But now it's time to be cautious, because I don't know if it's ready to break all-time highs just yet. But I'll be watching that 114 down to the 100 zone as support before ready to go higher. And the last one I'll do is EOS. And EOS is looking like it's back inside the arcs, back inside the fibs too, the 618 and the 50%. And it still hasn't yet to touch the cloud since it broke out back in December. So perhaps just more consolidation between these arcs as well, maybe 608 down towards the 530s there until it's really ready to break out higher. But I'll be watching to see if price can close weekly candles above that 608, 609 zone, the top arc. If successful this week, then there is a chance of building a base and then just going higher sooner than later. So that's what's necessary to break out, establishing a base on top of that arc right there. And with that, Tracker, finish us off.
All right. I know we do these all the time. We love these stocks. Clean Spark it's been a type. I mean, it was like a type A, then it was a type B, a type A, a type B. You can see it's had this triangle of a falling resistance trend and a rising support trend, and this really looks like it's ready to break out. It's like it's formed, a bullish wedge down on top of this triangle edge. So yeah, look for this to graduate to the type A, where it can explore this whole zone in the purple between 21 and $155. So CLSK looks really great from here. Gosh, I wanted to do. Oh yeah, Ryan Murdoch says thanks, Matt. A quid is right. You're right. It is called a quid. I'll do NU, and then we'll finish. That'll be it for us today. Oh, I have to draw it real quick. I'd say from this high to this low, and it is a type S stock again, or for the first time, because it has established its support on top of the 100% its all-time high, and it's going to be exploring the green zone up here. So from $13 now to like $27 later. Yeah, I like this. Just it's bullish. It's a good stock. Buy it, hang on to it, give it some time to breathe and give you profits. Don't trade in and out of it too much like I used to do. All right, that's it. We'll hopefully have a triumvirate show for you tomorrow night. We'll let you know for sure tomorrow after we talk to Kat. And yeah, good luck out there, everybody. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.